DRZ 400, or DRZ as some incorrectly call it, has been around for 23 years with almost no changes. With the stock suspension, this iconic dual sport bike floats like a hippopotamus and stings like a bee. I should know, over the years I have owned all three models: the soft dual sport DRZ 400S, the Supermoto DRZ 400SM, and the more dirt-oriented yellow DRZ 400E. I don't know about the rest of the world, but in Australia it was traditionally one of the biggest selling models. There's something about old style motorbikes that almost never get updated, which appeals to some riders. DRZ 400 fanatics will tell you most riders aren't worthy to ride this beast.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
The choice of champions for some riders. The DRZ 400 is cheap, reliable, long service intervals, parts are relatively cheap, and there's a huge array of aftermarket goodies too. It fills an important niche in the market. The majority of cheap, relatively light dual sport bikes are 250 and 300 models, which means high revs on the highway and only 20 to 25 horsepower. The DRZ is only a tad more expensive, not much heavier at 144 kilograms, but has a lot more punch for highway cruising and spirited riding. The main downside, the taller seat height compared to the 250s and 300s. It's a flexible platform. Plenty of guys fit big tanks to them, upgrade the suspension, and do seriously long adventure rides. Others just keep it stock and use it as a commuter during the week and some mild dirt riding on the weekends. At 34 horsepower, it's also not intimidating for learner riders. Enough positive points. What sucks? Like the vast majority of Japanese dual sport bikes, the suspension is truly awful unless you are a featherweight. Undersprung, weak damping. Thankfully, it has cartridge forks, so stiffer springs and revalving will transform the DRZ. Stators tend to burn out at around 20,000 kilometres. The fasteners for the stator, starter gear and primary gear can work loose over time. Get in there with some Loctite. Like quite a lot of Japanese bikes, there isn't a lot of grease on the swing arm and steering bearings with the DRZ. If you find a really old DRZ, the 2000 and 2001 models needed a manual cam chain tensioner. The seat is far too hard for riders who like to sit. The side stand has a safety switch. Most owners remove this as your engine will cut out over rough terrain if the side stand flaps up and down. The primitive 5-speed gearbox doesn't have a very good spread of ratios. Some guys spend a fortune on aftermarket gears to improve this. The DRZ 400 reminds me very much of the DR650, a great basic bike which could be so much more with tweaks from the factory that would cost next to nothing. For example, change those gear ratios, put heavier oil and springs in the suspension at a minimum, change the seat to a softer foam. I suspect that Suzuki just doesn't care because it's selling well. And possibly they would risk the grandfather clause in some countries where they don't have to meet new emissions and safety standards if no changes are made. Viewers often ask me if a DR650 or a DRZ 400 would suit them better. It's such a common question, I have actually done an entire video about this. It depends where you're riding fits on this spectrum. If good off-road performance is your main priority, you will want the old DRZ 400E. A light dual sport bike with good road manners, the old S model will probably suit better. If you like grunt, enjoy low revs on the highway and don't mind the extra weight, the DR650 will probably suit best. Have you owned a DRZ? What sort of mods did you make? Or have you ever ridden a DRZ? What did you think? Let us know in the comments.